way and drainage system for the whole capital city. Historical texts noted the presence of two stone bridges spanning the moat to provide access to the citadel. Thanh Hóa, Vĩnh Lộc, huyện Chí. Inside the capital city and imperial citadel, the Ho dynasty built a lot of roads, palaces, temples and altars, etc. Historian Phan Huy Chú, 1782-1840, for example, recounted that he saw with his own eyes the crisscrossing stone-paved roads and paths in the citadel. Excavations conducted in front of the South Gate in 2009 revealed vestiges of a road running in two opposite directions from the South Gate to the North Gate and Nam Giao altar. Preliminary studies show that this road was paved entirely of stone, 15 centimeters higher than the yard in front of the South Gate. The road is 4.35 meters wide outside the citadel and 4.85 meters inside the citadel. The greenish stone slabs used to pave the road measure 2.5 meters to 2.7 meters by 0.5 to 0.6 meters. That is the frontage of the central road connecting the citadel with Nam Giao altar. It must have been the veined stone road described by Phan Huy Chú in the early 19th century. Also, the front and the back of the South Gate bear traces of a fairly smooth stone-paved yard. According to historical books, these were where the Ho dynasty held festivals for the people in the capital city to attend. The complete annals of Đại Việt also notes the presence of Phú Quốc Palace, Nhân Thọ Palace, Hoàng Nguyên Palace, Eastern Palace, Eastern Ancestral Temple, Western Ancestral Temple, Satak Altar, Nam Giao Altar, etc. Nowadays, the ancient structures have almost been destroyed. Test excavations, however, have begun to unearth vestiges of extremely diverse architectural foundations of the old capital city. Within the inner wall, in 2004 and 2010, archaeologists have excavated 4 pits in a total area of 89.5 square meters in Nền Vua site, King's Foundation, and 50 square meters in the northwestern and southwestern areas. Strata layer of the site is on the average of 1.4 meters deep. The deepest point is 2.1 meters. The cultural stratum is on average of 1.1 meters to 1.25 meters in thickness, which is divided in 2 layers. Cultural layer of the Lê dynasty period, 15th to 18th centuries, about 0.65 meters thick, is usually 0.25 meters to 0.83 meters deep from the surface. Cultural layer of the Trần Ho period, late 14th and early 15th century, about 0.6 meters thick, is usually 0.75 meters to 0.6 meters deep from the surface. Unearthed architectural vestiges of the Trần Ho period, 1397-1407, include earthen foundations 0.4 meters thick. Brick paved foundations are unearthed at the depth of 1.4 meters, which were constructed adjacent to the virgin soil, including foundation number 2, with 44 remaining paved bricks. Roundish column foundation rammed with gravels, 0.4 to 0.5 meters in diameter, 0.5 meters in thickness. Drainage built with bricks. In excavated pit H2, a fairly well-preserved foundation has been unearthed. It was bounded by 14 sandstone blocks running in east-west direction. These stone blocks were fairly well-fashioned into parastellar pits. Vestiges of the Lê dynasty, the 15th to the 18th centuries that have been unearthed include column foundations rammed with layers of brick debris, unearthed at the depth of 0.3 to 0.4 meters, measuring 0.5 to 0.6 meters thick. An architectural foundation rammed with yellowish soil and 7 column foundations rammed with layers of brick debris, which was 0.43 to 0.48 meters thick. A large volume of artifacts have been unearthed. The excavation in 2004 alone has unearthed 19,036 artifacts and fragments, among which 18,680 are fragments of construction material. The typical ones include the cube stone base, measuring 0.67 by 0.67 meters, embossed with 16 lotus petals, several types of bricks in rectangular, square, and cubic forms, and tiles in lotus petal shape, rectangular shape having one end pointed, yin-yang tiles, rich tiles. Decorated material includes the papal leaf shaped decorated with dragon motif, sculptures of mandarin duck, dragon head, phoenix, tiles decorated with dragon and mask, etc. In addition, ceramics in types of bowls, dishes, kettles, basins, vases, pots, metal nails, arrowheads, spikes and coins, etc. are among the finds. The artifacts are datable to a long time bracket from the 14th century to the 19th and 20th century. The most remarkable ones are those that date back to the Chen Ho period. Some types of building material which typified the Chen art style were manufactured in Thăng Long. Most of the artifacts were made on-site and were typical of the Ho period. Molds for brick making with dragon decoration and bricks printed with place names provide the most compelling evidence of the level of artistic development under the Ho dynasty. Adjacent to Nền Vua, King's Foundation is a pair of stone dragons measuring 3.8 meters in length, with moving wave-like bodies with meticulous detailing. The structure of the sculpture indicates that these are the decoration of the stairway leading to the most important architecture of the capital. This should be the evidence of the main palace of the audience hall of the Ho dynasty, and thus the symbol of the royal power. The construction of edifices was combined with the design of landscape, evidenced in the presence of many beautiful lakes whose vestiges have remained to date. Bán Nguyệt Lake, in form of half moon, was next to Hoàng Nguyên Palace, where the king and his officials held their meetings. The lake covered some 3,000 square meters and was more than 2 meters deep. The lake, surrounded by trees of different types, was replete with fish and lotus, which gave it pure water. Dục Thúy Lake was situated at the northwestern corner of the inner wall. In front of the palace reside by the king, his queen and imperial concubines. The lake is very deep and filled with blue water. The king hands raised many fish, turtles, lotuses and water lilies. Around the lake were orange, lemon, pomelo, plum and pig trees. Dục Tượng Lake provided water for the court animals such as ordinary horses, war horses, elephants, etc. Bơi Chải Lake, the longest one, covering 15,000 square meters, was where the court held boat races during early spring. The whole inner wall and the moat system were encircled by what was known as La Thành, outer wall. The remain of the outer wall is now an earthen section of about 6 meters in height and 37 meters wide at its foot. The outer side is an abrupt slope, while the inner side is only slightly slanted with steps that are 1.5 meters each in height. At some points, the extant sections was reinforced by a mixture of soil and gravels. A test excavation in Xuân Áng hamlet of Vĩnh Long commune in 2010 showed that La Thành was built with yellowish, grayish, or bluish clay mixed with laterite soil. The whole construction of La Thành was very well adapted to the surrounding and capitalized on the natural conditions. At some sections, it was connected to an adjacent rocky mountain to form an imposing natural wall. At others, it made use of the dyes of nearby rivers. Today, vestiges of La Thành can still be found from Mount Đốn Sơn, Vĩnh Thành Commune to Mount Hắc Huyền, Vĩnh Long Commune, in Mount Xuân Đài, Mount Trác Phong, Mount Tiến Sĩ, Vĩnh Ninh Commune, Mount Kim Ngọ, Vĩnh Tiến Commune, Mount Ngưu Ngoạ, Mount Voi, Vĩnh Quang Commune. Some sections of La Thành are the dyes of the Bưởi and the Mã rivers themselves. The defensive nature of the La Thành is clearly defined by a sloping inner side and an upright outer side. In addition, La Thành seems to have capitalized fully on the natural mountains such as Mount Voi, Mount Đơn, and many parts of it ran along the meandering of the Bưởi and the Mã rivers. Hence, its additional function of a dike system to prevent the whole citadel from flood and inundation. This is also an example of the citadel construction tradition of the Vietnamese people that can also be found in Cổ Loa Citadel, 3rd century, Hanoi, Hoa Lư Citadel, 10th century, Ninh Bình, and Thăng Long Citadel, 11th to 18th centuries, Hanoi. Nowadays, several sections of 600-year-old La Thành are still well preserved with an immense chain of bamboo. It reminds of the story of the Ho rulers who ordered bamboo grown for the protection of the capital in the 14th century. How could such colossal stone blocks, weighing from 10 to 20 tons, be moved to such a height of about 10 meters? Especially if we bear in mind the limited technological capacity of the 14th century. How could such a monumental citadel be completed within such a short period of time by people who already had their hands fully carrying out reforms all over the country? These outstanding questions definitely require more in-depth research efforts to be answered. The first national and international studies on the construction technique show that there should have been extremely well-sequenced and sophisticated operation process of exploiting, manufacturing, transporting, uplifting, and setting up the giant stone blocks. These works ask for a highly scientific and accurate planning and constructing to ensure the quality of architectural art and defensive requirements. Stone materials should have been exploited from several mountains around the citadel, such as Đôn Sơn, Vĩnh Thành Commune, Hắc Huyền, Vĩnh Long Commune, Song Tuồng, Vĩnh Yên Commune, and manufactured on the spot to save transportation labor. They should have been transported both on land and by waterway. Archaeological explorations provide evidence of a solid, even, and flat road that was made for the transportation of stone blocks. On this road, the workers created a kind of artificial conveyor belt with the use of stone balls, wooden rolling logs, combined with manpower and animal energy, buffalo, elephant, etc., for pulling, pushing, resting, or changing direction of giant stone blocks. Thousands of stone balls of varied size, 10 to 30 centimeters in diameter, found from surrounding areas of the citadel, confirm the existence of such conveyor belt system. By this way, the stone had been inched patiently and enduring to the construction site. To uplift the stone blocks and fix them to the wall, an earthen rampart was built higher and higher to form gently sloped steps, and together with the conveyor belt system, helped to move the stones to their position. The bigger stone blocks were arranged in lower layers, whereas the small ones higher in running bond method to form an even and tapering outer surface of the stone wall. A very sophisticated preparation for the construction of the citadel wall should have been made also by firstly digging the moat to have soil for the embankment of the earthen rampart, and then, together with sand, gravel and stone medicum, to make it the stepped road to move the stone blocks to higher level. These types of materials serve not only to create a solid core for the citadel wall, but also to avoid slippery during the transportation of the stone blocks. This means the ramparts were almost completed when the stone wall was finished. This was a very well-sequenced process, carefully and scientifically calculated. The vaulted gates were another wonder of construction technique. The stone blocks were made even and smooth in all sides. Some are in wedge-like form. It is said that soil was used to make a core, following the form and size of the gates. The construction process was similar to the construction of the citadel wall. Wedge-like stone blocks were used for creating the vault. This building technique made the gates become very strong and still survived after more than 600 years. In the middle of the 20th century, Louis Bézissier, a French scholar who was an authority on Vietnamese art, remarked that the citadel of the Ho dynasty was a unique example utilizing huge limestone blocks that were skillfully carved and assembled. From 2006 to 2010, archaeologists